Welcome to Leaders in Light, Love, and Legacy, airing every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Zen Radio /Fave Unite Radio. I'm Joy Ruffin, a leadership and signature style specialist, your minister of enlightenment. Oh, how I love saying this, awareness and awakenings. Because my friends, we're all in that journey, on that journey right here and now. We are going to be here every Tuesday and Thursday at different times, 4 p.m. Eastern on Zen Radio /Fave Unite Radio, diving into honest conversations all about power. Don't you love that word? Presence and purpose. I'll be sitting down with featured guest speakers who will be bringing fresh insights on the divine masculine and the divine feminine, because they are united and they do balance each other out, and all that entails, because we all carry both within our gender, no matter who we are. It's about alignment, leadership, and building a legacy that's true to you. So whether you're listening in for inspiration, direction, or just a new perspective, it's all meant to stir something in you. Remember, there's always more waiting for you at joyruffin.com. Now, I've given you a name, my League of Eagles. Get comfortable, relax, whatever that means to you. And if you're driving, drive and be safe. Let's get into today's conversation. It's a good one. They always are. My featured guest speaker today, I'm going to share with you a wee bit about her bio. Jane Morba is a stellar, I love that word, Luxe visual transformational roadmap mentor coach. Isn't that a lot, but it's so powerful. Jane's life coaching expertise comes alive in the process of allowing others and other factors to help women give themselves permission. I love that, because that's what we're all about now. To emphasize a visual journey to reinvent how they see themselves in the marketplace, to be valued and compensated. Equality is right along my list of 5 majors, with internal transformation and AI images required to sustain their success. Love that too. Now, you're relaxed, you're comfortable, and so are we. And I want to welcome you, Jane. Jane, say hello and welcome to our audience all over the globe.
Thank you so much, Joy. I am so delighted to be here. Super excited to be sharing this conversation with people all over the world. So let's get to it.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad to hear you say that, because I've always thought global, and now that we're on a global and we are on several platforms, I'm happy for you to share your message. And Jane, it's the same for me all the time, each and every time I start. Tell us a little bit about how you came to do this fantastic work that you're doing, and then we're going to get into some bullet points that we want to share more nuggets with the audience about. And we are global. We go everywhere. So tell us, how did you come to do this work? I love the word stellar, the work that you're doing.
Oh, thank you. I do too. Stellar Luxe. Why not take up space and go for our desires and reach for the stars? So my journey started on the East Coast, and I'm from New Jersey. I grew up with deaf parents, so I became very visual. That was my innate soul expression. And I became bilingual and had very adventurous parents. I did a lot of traveling, and we were kind of an adventurous family physically. And part of my journey was to really embrace the photography and the visual arts. I studied photography and fine arts on the East Coast, influenced by New York, loving all the arts in New York area. And I wanted to be kind of a fine art photographer. I had this desire to study a lot of fine art photography, documentary photographers on the East Coast. I wanted to be in galleries and museums, but that's not really where my journey took me. And I decided to keep going with photography And I ended up moving to California, to Monterey Carmel, which was a gorgeous area. And I had some connections there. And I decided to end up doing events, weddings and events. And I had like lots of access to beautiful places on the coast, the Pacific Ocean,
Yes.
venues. It was actually, I was a big fish in a small pond over there. It was,
I doubt it. Carmel is beautiful. But Jane, you've given us so many nuggets there. Let's go back a wee bit. And thank you for all that beautiful sharing. It gave me, and I'm sure those who are tuning in, an insight into why photography became so important. You use the word visual. And you had shared with me, Jane, and there's so much running around and percolating up here in my noodle, I forgot. But both of your parents were deaf. So the visual aspect, and that they were adventurous and traveling around, it gave you that visual outlook to look, to see, to hear, and to taste it all. And why do you think photography became such a paramount focal point for you?
Well, that's interesting, because when I was growing up, we did some road trips. My mother actually had an 8mm camera, and she was the director of the show. My mother was very Leo, and she would pose us, she would be documenting. We actually have some of this footage still. And I could see where I really, I went into this journey. I was inspired by it. I really liked cinematography and so forth. But she inspired me with her 8mm camera. And
I love that.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
It is. It's lovely. Lovely.
Yeah, it's a really nice texture to my story. And then I think I would have liked to have been a sculptor or an artist, but to be honest, it was an accessible medium. To pick up a camera is very, accessible. It's not like you're going into a studio and building sculptures or, painting canvases, which would require a different bit of tools. So I became a photographer and just embraced events and trainings in Las Vegas, and learning from really celebrity photographers. And it was the right time between digital and documentary photography. And it was a skill that was needed because I was in California on the coast, and people would come there for weddings and destination events all over. People from LA, music producers, people who worked in international markets in Silicon Valley. They would have their weddings down in Carmel.
Yeah, because it's so beautiful.
Yeah, so beautiful, boutique-y experiences. And I had really networked well with hotel coordinators. That was my job. I had a partner who handled technical aspects. I'll give him credit for that. Okay. We were a little bit of a team. So
I love it. Jane, you're giving us so many fun tips that I want to piggyback on, because I don't want to leave anything out here. We have some time. What I love that you said, because I'm in the spiritual realm, and that's not to say that I know everybody has a different higher source, whatever. Mine is what everyone else's is in a different way. But you said your mother, you took all these road trips, and your mother was like the director. She was very Leo. And I don't know if a lot of people really know astrologically what that means, but that means what to you? Because I want to know.
That means you're the boss, you're the director, you like limelight. But she also knows how to throw a good party, So.
And you do it with heart.
Yes, there's a lot of
with heart, the compassion, the concern, and all of that's there. Now, you said that you were born and raised more or less New Jersey, New York, and what took you to California and to photography? I know why you went there, and then you eventually segued into events because of the narrative. That what gave you that? I think I know, but I want to hear it from you.
My naivete and always thinking the grass is greener on the other side. This is probably my hero's journey right here, because I met a friend and I thought it was going to be, the guys would be better, the grass is greener, all that. All the foolish things that women would do. And you end up coming full circle, coming back. Well, I came back, but So I would answer it foolishness, but a sense of adventure. I'll be honest.
Well, you know what? I like that, Jane, and I don't agree with you, and I don't have to be right. I love not being right because I learn in the process, and if I am right, I still get my learning. I agree and understand and embrace everything that you said, except I don't think that you said it was foolishness. I think it's a life journey process that we all go through at different phases and stages of our life. It's a cycle of life. So it brought you to what you're doing now, which is where I want to go, because what you're doing now is aligned somewhat in a different way with what I'm doing, but it's akin and connected in the best way. So when we talk about a stellar, luxe, visual, transformational, roadmap, mentor, coach, tell us how you came to all of that, because how would you make it more succinct, and how do you present and project what you're doing?
Yes, so this is where I stepped into the whole career of being a photographer and a visual documentary photographer for a newspaper. I was well connected with the events and the hotels. I would get on great lists. I mean, wanky places. My colleagues recommended me. I was at the right place at the right time. I was in flow. And I did many, many hundreds of events. I had a very good career, successful, but there was a point where I got totally burnt out. My relationship was failing. I no longer felt joy and passion about what I was doing. And in a career like that, most people last about 5 to 7 years, and then you kind of physically can't do it anymore. Many people who have been photographers are kind of prominent people in social media world now. Everybody pivoted. It's like a younger kind of career. So I remember vividly photographing like another kiss of a couple, another kiss, and I couldn't do it anymore. I was done. I dropped the camera. I said, I'm done. I was pretty much done with the relationship. And this was my hero's journey. And I sold everything, ended the relationship, ended my contracts, and it was all kind of a painful time, a soul searching, sucking time. And I flew back east, and I knew I had to find another way, another career, something that fulfilled me. And that's when I stepped into massage, holistic living, get back to my body, maybe even get clear on my ego and what was going to be my next act. And that's when I opened up to life coaching. And then I saw a lot of people online doing life coaching, women doing life coaching. And I said, I kind of want to know what's going on and how to get involved with this. So there was an event in New York City, and I saw a sales letter in Facebook, an ad. It said, women coaches, come meet us in New York City. It was like a high-end women coach, female entrepreneurs. And I went for like a couple of days, and I met and I got in the room, and I actually felt a bit out of place. Like I didn't know the territory yet. And this was the awakening for me. I said, I want to go on this journey. And I ended up enrolling in a year-long coaching certification on how to coach. It was a high-end coaching certification, and I pivoted. And it was a new direction for me. And then that's when I learned that coaches are women, female entrepreneurs and coaches are taking control of their narrative, their coaching style. See, this was not corporate coaching. It was like the new frontier, as you probably know, Joy, right?
It is a new frontier. It is a new frontier. And I love the way you're flowing with your words and your description, Jane, because you're saying that you kind of lost your flow, and it was like your hero's journey, And what you discovered is that there was more that you wanted to do and felt that you needed to do. So everything ended, but it brought you to this life coaching. And so in turn, even when you went there to this first kind of, and I like the verbiage you use, high end, and yet you felt a little bit out. Why did you feel a little bit out of the circle, the flow of that high end, whatever that was? Because that's a word that it embraces so many people because they want to. I forget to cut off my phone, but I forgot to be able to say anything. So.
Yes.
I lost my train of thought there, Jane. Why did you feel, and excuse the corruption there, I always forget to turn something off, but why did you feel out of sorts with this high-end life coaching circle class, whatever?
Well, they were immediately talking about raising your prices, doubling and tripling your prices, and I didn't even know what my first price was. I didn't even know what my framework was. So I felt, oh, are these people more experienced than me? What do they know that I don't know? And but I stayed with it, and I kept on showing up. And then I learned that there was a thing called personal brand, and that there was called, amplifying your visual magnetism and bringing your skills and talents to help other women. And then I started to understand, oh, I could be part of this. I actually have photography skills. I understand what images feel like and influence our identity. So I went down a rabbit hole of going through the coaching certification, learning the online digital marketing frameworks for each person, connecting and collaborating with other women, and working in that type of way. So it was a new way, a new life for me. See, I felt like photography was easy for me. You ever feel that? Like you pick a career and it's easy. It never really challenged me in a way. I mean, I learned skills. I learned how to pose people. I knew how to do a business, but this was different. This was an aspirational positioning and identity for myself. And I connected with women from all around the world in this way. And I knew I landed because I had healing arts and transformational skills. And this was definitely a new direction for me. And I loved it.
I'm sorry, apologies, Jane, but what was that key turning transformational point for you in what you just described to us? Apologies, I'm double dipping here.
That's a great question, because the turning point was I was behind the camera, kind of silent, directing. You post here, you do this, you do that. Oh, delivering pictures, getting accolades. Oh, how wonderful. But I felt like I never got in front of the camera. So that pivot for me was, okay, I am no longer the identity of a photographer. Now I get in front of the camera. I challenge myself to do 30 days of videos, 30 videos almost every day. And I started to see myself in a new identity and present my coaching offers. And I got clients.
Great.
That way. And I changed my whole life. And I became an authority in my own hero's journey, and also giving other women permission that they can do this too.
I say this often and all the time, but I say it with heart and soul connected. I love the way you just described how the pivot for you came about, and the verbiage and how you use it. You walked from behind the camera to in front of the camera. That was a hero's journey, big transformational shift for you. And that's what the bullet point, one of the things that you gave me that you want to, how are you supporting, aiding, assisting other women, especially women, can be men too, but predominantly I work with women, to have that awakening and to know that we all want to be seen, heard, and valued, but how? What is it you're doing to offer them that transformational identity shift and their awakening?
I would take them on a journey. Well, first of all, they have to agree to want to be coached, and they step into, agree to invest in themselves and be coached and go down an iconic awakening for their own business, their own image, and their own communication style. So I will help them position, first of all, let go of an identity that doesn't serve them. So really stepping into a strategic placement of their identity, and even working with AI images so they can get more traction, impact, and use specific images on all their marketing and their PDFs and their frameworks, and create a visual consistency that is super fun and exciting, and awakens and heals and awakens their next act, just as I went through.
Well, I like that. And I have received that. And I'm sure that those who are tuning in now and those who will come later will get that. But one of the things that I heard you say, and I have a question about it, because I happen to love AI, but I'm learning really how to work with it, because I personally, and it's never about me, but I see, feel, and know things. It's too automated, generated kind of stuff. So how are you using AI to support the women that you're working with to see images, I'm assuming, which is deadly, of themselves that will support them in their growth, their evolvement?
So I would take them on a roadmap. That's why I called
I love that. Yes.
Roadmap. And we would do a discovery, what their preferences are, what kind of icons they connect with, things that really touch their soul and their vision. Because we're creating more imaginative images now with the use of art periods, different, cinematography.
Yeah.
So we will build it's kind of an identification roadmap formula. And then we would use Pinterest and create all these boards, and there's,
okay. Now I understand. I missed it.
Yeah, we go through a process, and I would help them do a brand board, and then I would help them create and some iconic AI images.
I like that, because I was thinking images of the body and the style and so on. But you're talking about not only helping them with the AI to find out what to support them in discovery of vision and image and all of that. It's a package that you're doing. That makes a lot of sense. That's very creative, very brilliant.
Yeah, I've done some training and some courses on it, and it's going to reach. It's going to be a nice reach. It could be a scroll stopper on some ads and marketing, and you can have feel like an approach that's lets you to stand out. And that's, exciting. But, look, I am going to be honest. I like working with creative types, healers, health practitioners, copywriters. I'm probably, it could be a corporate person who wants to, depart corporate, but I'm probably working with creative women who are kind of ready to, get down and dirty and rock their rebel side and things like that.
Well, I love the word rebel, and I'm chuckling away here because I'm going back to how you started to address the question that I asked you. And first off, it has to be those women, females, ladies who really want to have their awakening. They have an inner knowing that something they can improve on, and they want to be and are able to find a way to invest in themselves, because that's major. Change is not easy for anyone, but when you have that gut intuitive feeling that it's time, you find someone like you or me to implement and support you in that. And that's where you come to the visibility with authority. Mm-hmm. I think you've already given us a lot of nuggets about what that means. But when we talk about visibility with authority, how does that make an imprint on you and the women that you're working with?
Right. And when you get deeper in your identity, and then you decide on an iconic image, you can use that as your authority North Star. And that will help people perceive you in a different way, and you can be compensated like in a bigger way. So there's some reverse engineering here because we want to make more money, and maybe it's people or women, female entrepreneurs who have been in coaching programs, right? Who have done styling with you, have, speaking, training, and then maybe they just, or business strategy. Sure, those are great, but maybe this is a little bit deeper, more transformative, and like connect to the power of your own inner worth and alignment. So you could present in a different way, maybe experiment with these images and a new identity and test the market and, use it for your podcasts, your webinars, and so forth. So it's a transformative experience for yourself.
I like it. I like it. And I like it for this reason. I'm not judgmental.
Okay.
I don't throw shade, and I'm not negative in viewpoints and opinions that I share, because it's more like what I feel, what I see, and what I know. And we as women, we're in an identity crisis now because the programming, conditioning that most of us have been conditioned to, and most who aren't even aware of it, no matter what league you're in, whether you're underserved, underrepresented, undervalued, whatever it might be, or even if you think you're not, overeducated, over whatever, the crisis is that we really kind of don't know who we are because we're using too much of our sexuality now. I call it the 2 B's and the V. And presence, it's how do you want to be seen, heard, and valued? What type of respect and admiration are you looking for? Are you looking for that quick overnight kind of boom, 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 and it's over? Or are you looking for respectability and legacy? So that's one of the reasons why when you say identity crisis and aligning with your North Star, I don't know if many people even know what that means. So what does that mean, aligning with your North Star and reversing the engineering that most of us, there's so much in rhetoric, verbiage, and jargon that we all use. What does that mean? And what does that mean to the layman out there, that female who has that questionable inkling that I could segue and go another way? What is that? What is that how do you express to someone this identity crisis and aligning with your North Star and visibility with authority?
Yeah. We want to, that's so great, because we want to be liked. Sometimes we want to have
not sometimes, all the time.
And this might not really serve us because we've already abandoned ourselves probably a lot of times, abandoned our style, our boundaries, and we've maybe sacrificed a bit of ourselves. This would be a bit raw and step into your Dazzle Rebel. And women are constantly busy, not seeing the financial growth that matches, that matches their accomplishments. Maybe seeing other people that are maybe talented and they just feel like they're not charging enough as them. And they need to have strategic partners with other women. So this could be a collaborative community focus. So we can collaborate in community just as men do and align in that way. Maybe remove the exhaustion of chasing new clients and be attract with our marketing and our images and our identity, and collectively work with other women so we're all in the same place. Get compensated. So this is people have done some work and maybe you've invested in business. I hope I'm answering the question. But
you are.
Now being strategic, that's why being in your community and following the women in your podcasts, this is so vital, so important. We are, commanding a certain visual positioning in that way.
Well, no, you're not. You are addressing the question because you're answering it and well, because I'm all about all for one and one for all, especially when it comes to us women and aligning the copy, competing and comparing. Those days are over. And everyone in different ways will have more or less of whatever you have. But if you're not open and know thyself and love thyself enough to align with those people, you're in deep, you know what. And I love the words that you use in your descriptions about stuff. First off, we have to know what our boundaries and our values are. I don't think a lot of us understand our boundaries and or our values. And when you use that word rebel and raw, I think we have to go back and rebirth ourselves, reset. I don't care what verbiage you choose to use. So that's why one of the reasons that I'm in alignment with what you're doing is because I can see the camaraderie and the collaboration there. But let's go to this high-end offer creation. What does that mean? Because high-end, high value, and high whatever, upscale, these are words that are, as much as they are endearing to many people, it's also like, I don't want to be bothered with that, blah, blah, blah. So what does that mean to you in high-end offer creation?
Well, this is what I've learned in the industry, and it is true. If we position ourselves with a high-end offer, that means somebody might have that money to invest in your energy in a longer time period and have a bigger transformation. So if we don't have a high-end offer, then we're cutting ourselves short. And then there's other places people can go into the mid-range or step in and get a taste and feel of how you do your framework, how you take people on the transformation. So even though it's can be scary, but it's kind of important and primal to have something high end for that person who would want to step in and work with you. And also it shows the world that you value yourself and your skills and your training. How many times have women, we probably train so much, we train in learning skills, technology, coaching, style. So if we have a high-end offer, then we're like, we're demanding certain respect and authority to command more money that we deserve, because don't we want to fly first class? Don't we want to travel in beautiful places, mastermind with other women? We need money to do all these things.
I love the way you put that, because I'm very much back to what you originally started us off with, because that's been my mantra. You look for those who are willing to invest in themselves and they're open to change. Because if you're just constantly looking for freebies and energy, and what you're projecting out and how it connects and relates to others is vital. And it is primal, really, this energy thing, because when you first start off, I think you conveyed this in different verbiage, you think everybody's going to come and be under your umbrella. Well, it's not going to happen. But those who are meant for you will arrive. And if you keep your boundaries and your values clear, it's going to happen. And I love the word, because I use this all the time, Jane. It's about not demanding. It's about how are you commanding others in a loving way to unite and connect with you. And once you do that, you'll align and gather to you the people that are meant to be with you. So that's why I like the way you explain your high-end offer creation, because everyone, regardless to the business you're in, you need a high-end offer. And you might sell one or two of those a year and have others that go out because of one's budget. But sooner or later, those who value themselves and they can afford it, they will join with you. Is that your belief?
Yeah, I like when you said that, commanding a certain offer, because you feel that within. I do believe that it's important to be authentic and not feel salesy, but it's your brand identity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do people connect with you? What give us your we will have it on the poster that we do, but what is your website, or what information you have? Because you're giving out information for those who are tuning in, listening, and wanting to know more about you. How do they connect with you?
Well, they connect with me at janemorba.com, and I offer a Stellar Luxe discovery call, and find out what are the blocks in their own identity that they might not be stepping into their unique positioning fully. And it's very generous. It's, a real discovery call where I will be, reflecting back into what is what's blocking them, and then what's the next step, and to generate their more value for them visually, and maybe what have they done before? What have they invested before, and how I can help them? So they get my presence, undivided attention.
I love it. I love it. And the other night I spoke to this beautiful soul that I'll be interviewing towards the end of May this month. I can't believe we're in May already, Jane. But she is doing the work that you're doing in a different way. But her first premise and the foundation that she's building her business on, and you alluded to it in the beginning, know thyself. I mean, it's as old as time, and love thyself, every bit of you. Because if you're mesmerized and immersed in the entertainment, communication, and all of that exterior stuff that you see, you're not going to get there. So learn to love who you are and value yourself and have your values and your boundaries. And you spoke to that in a great way. Strategic network expansion. I think you've given us tools about that as well. But what does that mean? Strategic network expansion. I think we all want it and need it and are headed in that direction, right?
Right. I think if we, as leaders and mentors, if we are neglecting to build some strategic networking and relationship, we're going to feel a bit alone. And I felt that aloneness even in the photography business. And I felt like when I got into the coaching world or networking, it definitely takes you out of isolation and it opens up possibilities and it elevates your status. So I think, especially being connected to your community, it definitely helps with marketing. And it's actually a very feminine way to go because, we're connecting. We're not just transactional. We're really supporting each other towards our desires. Okay, so, it's also strategic. You're helping other people bring out the best in them and how you can help them. So strategic partnering is great.
I think so. I know so, as Mumsy would say.
Yes. You're all about strategic partnering. I love that.
I truly am. And I'm very selective in the strategic partners that I align with, because you mentioned that when you start out there's that aloneness, and there's a kind of, you're out of the box and you stand alone, and we must be able to stand alone. But those of us who are in the pursuit of awakenings, we know that family, relationships, and community is everything. So you began to build your community, and you began to build a community that you can grow and they can grow, and you grow together. So that's why I wanted you to explain network strategic expansion, because no matter what you're doing, you want to expand, you want to grow. And as one of my friends said to me, not everybody wants to leave a legacy. Not everybody has the mindset. Remember, we're all a part, and you already know this, we're part of the collective. But there are different stratas, there are different levels. Let's just be real. And so your assignment as an eagle is to rise and to continue to soar. So how do you leverage income streams, Jane? You mentioned it to us in a very light way. And I love the way you said everyone ought to have a high-end offer. But how do you leverage out contingent upon the business you're doing? What tips or tools can you share with us to support people and leveraging out their income streams, like from 1 to 5 to 10 to whatever it might be?
Well, now there's so much affiliate marketing in the industry. I mean, from Amazon, you can, be, sharing a product on Amazon and you're an affiliate, right? And so there's so many different ways you can have digital products or just be an affiliate with a digital product based on digital marketing, branding. There's ClickBanks. There's so many different ways to keep maybe imparting things that you love and get paid for it. Or maybe you recommend one of your colleagues, one of your sister besties, and you get a little commission for that. So those are ways I think even though you have a high-end offer and a service, we all should be thinking about maybe different revenue streams in that way. That's pretty prominent now. And I guess that's something we could talk about for sure, when people, get into that flow of knowing everything is, another business tactic.
Well, I love the way you explain that. And I love the word flow, because that's what we're all doing in different ways, no matter what business we're in. But what you want to do, and you mentioned it, Jane, you want to flow with the businesses and the affiliate links or whatever that are aligned with the work that you're doing in one way or another, from the top to the bottom, whatever it might be. So that, and revenue streams, I mean, let's just face it, that's important. But we see so many people out here who have them that just don't connect. But let me go back to where you started with your photography and events, and how you went from that to your visual visibility, authority marketing, that's digital, along with AI. Give us a few more tips about that, because personally, I find that fascinating and very innovative.
Yeah, I think it's the identity shift, and it's a way to bring out some transformation that is like coming up from inside, and using it in a concrete way that's really actionable. So it's iconic. Like, creating an iconic image can be a nice part of our marketing strategy. And again, stopping the scroll and really position women in a transformative way. I mean, not just tangible business, but it must feel so good to just say, this is what I'm really connecting to. I'm connecting to, you could do one image, like a studio image. You don't have to do a million images, and you could say, oh, I really like, put the background as, I'm in the Palm Springs in the desert with neon colors.
Yes, I'm chuckling away because, first off, your word iconic, and the word that came to mind when you said that is legendary. And for whatever reason, because of the entertainment industry, which I love, and all of the other subs that are under it, today, because of that hunger to be seen, heard, and valued, it's so prevalent that I think we've gone a little off way to the dark side with the digital marketing. That's why I wanted to hear you talk a little bit more about it, because so many of these images that are created, they're so far from the realness of the individual. But I know that that's not what you're doing. So that's not, but that word iconic and legendary and even legacy is what people maybe want and kind of don't know how to go about. And that's what you're supporting them in discovering, I think.
Right. I know. Yes, it's almost like having your own spirit animal. Like this really connects to you, and using it makes you chuckle, and you might get a chuckle from somebody else, and it just emphasizes your own spiritual journey. And it comes back to my own hero's journey. I think this is part of my soul's journey, when I was just taking pretty pictures of people and couples and events, or doing documentary photography for a newspaper. It's kind of 3D, it's here it is. Mm-hmm. And half of those people are probably divorced anyway, but this is a different positioning, and when I say iconic, it's stellar, it's luxe, it's iconic, it's just, it's claiming space. It's definitely, this is who I am, like it or leave it. And
I love it.
Right? It's claiming it. And on my journey, I've been people pleasing a lot in my whole life. I did things because I was supposed to do. This is so claiming my own talents and my own positioning, and being the guide on the visual journey for other women really satisfies me. I want women to take a clear position. I want them to, push through the edges.
Yes. I love that. And so do I. I think we're going about it in vastly different ways, but the core underlying essence, the end of the hero's journey, it's the same. Jane, I don't know where the time goes, but it flies. And I say that whether it's 30 minutes or 50 minutes, but all of this information that you've given us and how people can connect with you and so on and so forth, it's really great. And I'm sure that they will, because it seems that you have found the path that is passion for you. And that's what's important. And you're sharing that with others. What words of wisdom, what gems do you want us to walk away with here? And how would you want people, again, to connect with you?
Well, I think, oh, thank you. Thank you. This has just been like, where's the time gone? This has been so kind of revealing, really, about my journey. And we're talking about the hero's journey. Here it is. We get to, be a female entrepreneur, creative type, get into premium positioning, create like a life that we really love and desire, and like put authority in our own power, positioning, be distinctive. And it's about the visual, product based, but it's also transformational.
Yes.
It's coaching, it's transformational. You become like the person you want to become. And you did bring up values,
Yes.
And I think let's come back, a little bit of work on the values, and maybe doing a business that is kind of connected to the elements, the cycles, the magnification, the flow. We're not guys and going to go crush it. We're going to, be in our transformational evolution. So
I think so.
If somebody likes that, then I would be the right person for them. I've been through this whole journey too, being a bit invisible to being visible. And I think a lot of women are craving this.
I think so, Jane. I think so. Not only I don't think so, I know so. And that's why I'm honored to have you here today. And thank you for all these pearls of wisdom that you share with us, and ending with your values and the visual aspect. After all, we are in a visual universe, and our presence and our values matter. And our moral compass, however, some of us dropped it, and we have. It's time we picked it up. And I think that's what you're about in your hero's journey, and helping and supporting people to find and discover theirs as you have found yours. So I thank you. Hold tight, don't go anywhere. And let me just say to all of you tuning in now, and those of you who come later, your assignment, if you don't know, I love homework, so do connect with Jane Morba, Morba. She'll be everywhere, and we'll be sending out notifications about this broadcast. But Jane is passionate about what she's doing, and I love her stellar Luxe visual transformational roadmap, which she's going to share with you. Thank you again for tuning in. I am Joy Ruffin, your minister of enlightenment, awareness, and awakenings. And the prayer is that you gathered some awakenings and insights today. If something in today's conversation struck a chord, then let's keep the conversation going. Visit with me, joyruffin.com, to learn more about the work that I do and the offerings that I share and the messages we're spreading together, Jane, I, and you. You can also reach me directly and I do give out my cell number. I don't have any fear. I just block those that I don't recognize, 772-240-9810. And yes, that leads directly to me. Visit me on my website. And if today's conversation went towards your understanding, then we can go deeper. Visit with me at joyruffin.com. You'll find a space to connect, to explore, and tap into free resources that change and grow as we do, as Jane mentioned to you today. So until the next time, I love to say this, my League of Eagles, you are eagles, or you wouldn't be here tuning in. Stay present, stay bold, and keep soaring. Remember, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be right here on Zen Radio /Fave Unite Radio FM, sending you much love from my heart to yours. All the best, always. Cheers.